Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know me, Jackie Cation, your host, and all of the websites that are connected with the Dork Forest. JackieCation.com, dorkforest.com, thedorkforest.com, familypetancestry.com, allthingscomedy.com, /Jackie Cation, lowercase, or /the Dork Forest, probably lowercase. All Things Comedy is my comedy podcast network that I'm part of with Al Madrigal. And there's a bunch of podcasts on there, including Aaron Foley's and Tom Papa's. Super fun. Really nice comics, really nice, funny people. Go check out their podcast as well. And this episode is a fun one. Let's do the credits. Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio. Mike Rickberg did the theme song at the beginning of the show. He'll sing again the Mexican hat dance at the end of the show. Vilmos fixes my website. On JackieCation.com, there's a bunch of things you can do. You can, to support the show, you can use the Amazon banner. That's ordering to Amazon through that portal, an Amazon banner on the upper right-hand side of my page. Doesn't cost you extra. I get a bit of a kickback from Amazon when you order from Amazon. And other than that, you can just buy merch. There's t-shirts. There's Dork Forest and Ranger of the Dork Forest t-shirts. Working on a new one, but so far, those are the ones. If you don't have those, get on it. They are American-made here in the United States. They are union-made by people with insurance. You can just also donate to the Dork Forest. If you are liking the show, I'd love you to donate $100 a year, $10 a month. I haven't made that easy because I don't like a monthly payment. So if you're having a good time, throw me $10 every month or throw me $3 of $25. And if you don't have it, don't worry about it. Just support the show in some other way. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Periscope. I'm on Facebook. There's a Ranger page on Facebook where you can and just talk about the show, and that's super fun. Oh, I also joined Bandcamp. thedorkforest.bandcamp.com, I guess, might eventually have live episodes of the Dork Forest that you buy. And it's because sometimes they cost me money, and somebody said, well, why don't you sell them? And so I might do that. So just go to Bandcamp. Right now there's just a couple of stories up, but super fun. And there's a picture of me when I was about 8 years old at Farrell's. So there's that draw. But let's get into the show. If there's an ad, it's coming up next. Let's get into the show and some dorkdoms. Hey, Rangers, this week's sponsor is Gen Con. It's a board game convention in Indianapolis, Indiana. Their slogan is, and this is true, the best 4 days in gaming. This year it's July 30th through August 2nd in Indianapolis, Indiana. The badges are discounted $10 prior to June 14th, and you can get them online at gencon.com, GENCON.com, or via will call, pick up at the door. There's like 16,000 events and 350 gaming companies on site. There's literally something for every gamer. Andy's gone for 2 years in a row. He's going again this year. He'll do play testing. And everybody play tests new games. You can meet people and play old games. You can just meet people. The greatest thing about this convention is that more people weren't standing in line to go to a panel. This is a convention where people are actually playing games, and it's really, really fun. They're expecting a little more than 60,000 gamers this year, making it the largest, longest running game convention in North America. And it's just really fun. It's GENCON.com. I'm going to go. There's going to be a live Dork Forest. It is July 30th through August 2nd. Come and play games, you guys. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm back in my living room in Van Nuys. Turns out with my neighbor, Mary Kennedy, stand-up comic, your own vodcast, which means video podcast, you guys. Fancier podcast. and all of that. So welcome to the show, Mary Kennedy.
Thank you, Jackie.
Mary Kennedy, is it omaryshow.com?
Yes.
That is your website, and at omaryshow on Twitter, and at MK Comedy for Mary Kennedy Comedy is your personal Twitter account,
yes. And
you're Mary Kennedy on Facebook.
Yes.
Right. So you have a vodka. Let's just let people know.
Okay. That the podcast.
Is it on a YouTube? Is it on the tubes of you?
It is on the tubes of you, but you can always watch a new episode every Thursday at 6:30 PDT.
Is when the new one comes out.
Yes.
And it's right there. And are the old ones available?
Yes.
There you go.
And it's omaryshow.com. OH.
Yeah. And it's who is your co-host?
Paul Jasek.
And what do you discuss on Oh Mary Show?
It's current events.
Really?
It is current events. It's
Good for you.
There's a little bit of politics. You know,
Gutsy stuff.
I'm related to the Kennedys, so.
Oh, that's right, Mary Kennedy.
Yeah. So
I was named after Jackie Kennedy. We didn't know
Really?
them at all. Yes.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
Yeah. They put a lot of, Jacqueline is my full name. So yes, I was named after, but they didn't know her.
Well,
They didn't
and
have
I
a
didn't
big-
know her either, so we're good.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't even know. Ted Kennedy gave me a scholarship for college, and I didn't even meet him. I met
Wow.
his assistant Peter, and Peter.
So
gave me
you're
the paperwork.
distantly related to the Kennedys. How
Second
distant?
cousins.
Second cousins. That's not even that distant.
Well, second cousin's twice removed, so it is.
I had Lori Kilmartin on. This is many episodes ago. I think we're almost at level issue, whatever the word would be.
Right.
Episode 300 of the pre-recorded, and then there's another over 200 of the horrible audio, but that I will one day make into something beautiful.
Yeah.
But one of the first ones was with Lori Kilmartin and Kathleen Madigan.
Yes.
Dorking out about the Kennedys.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of people who dork out about us.
It's
Yes.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
and not the Teddy, not John, the generation before
Yes.
that. Rosemary and
Yeah, and Joe.
Joe and it was fascinating. I don't know anything about anything. That's not true. I know very little about everything
Yeah, right.
at this late date.
Well, yeah, no. My dad geeked out about it. My dad.
Did he?
Yeah, well, yeah, and he.
Because you grew up in the Boston area or
Right.
Boston?
Yeah, and so we had photo albums of Kennedy pictures. Like he would have, you know, Jack Kennedy or JFK,
Mm-hmm.
you know, at his prom, but there'd be no pictures of me at the prom. So he
Oh my
was
God.
very much obsessed. And his second wife, after he divorced my mother, was a lot like Jacqueline Onassis.
Okay.
So it was a little creepy, but
Sure.
you know. So
Yeah, when you're working an angle, it's and when you start collecting ones by the relatives and not by your own children, that's it's exciting. My sister's boss is a guy named John Taft, and
Okay.
he is the great grandson of William Taft,
Right.
And Supreme Court judge,
yes.
also president.
Yes.
But I believe I've met him, but I read his book now. But Darla said that she was listening to a speech that he made one time, and he was talking about how he went to Yale and he got a degree in Italian literature.
Uh-huh.
And he said, how do you think a guy who got his degree in Italian literature becomes the CEO of the fifth largest banking industry, banking company in the world? And he said, because my great grandfather was William Taft. That's why. And my sister is like, it's just nice to meet some of these guys that are like, oh yeah, I was born on 3rd. It's nice and that he's self-aware of it and really good guy, like sane and big, LBGT, advocate and stuff for gay rights and stuff like that. He is not gay, but both his daughter and his stepdaughter are gay.
Yeah, see, it's interesting. And my mother, when my parents got divorced, she didn't give up the Kennedy name. She's no dope.
Oh, she is no dope.
So
Well played.
She kept it, and I kept it. I didn't take my husband's name.
Oh, there you go.
So, you know.
I have a friend who's Hawaiian, and she's like, I would never give up my Hawaiian name because there's only about 9 of us left.
Yeah.
And I keep wanting to get her on. New Kids on the Block. That's her dorkdom.
Oh, I love them.
Do you love them?
I do love New Kids on the Block.
Well, Mary Kennedy, let's talk about your dorkdom.
Oh, yeah.
Which can start with New Kids on the Block and the whole Us, In Touch, and OK, those magazines. You like those? Okay. For years, I had a subscription to Star.
I love it. I can't explain it. And I know it's not real news. And I know, and I cringe just a little bit when I do buy them.
Well,
but they make me happy. You know.
If they soothe, if they stop the voices, please make it happen.
Well, no, and my mother, so we go on vacation and she'd always get an Enquirer.
Okay.
And so it was like we were on vacation when my mother had the Enquirer.
Okay.
So now when I go shopping at Ralph's, because that's what I do, you know, I need something because everything else is gone. So I go and I get the Yes Weekly or the In Touch or the OK.
Okay, let's start. So Star, there's Star. I got it when it was newsprint.
Yes.
And so there's Star, there was Inquirer.
Right.
And the Star was always the more credible.
Yes.
Because they would always say successfully, they've never been successfully sued.
Right.
For inaccuracy, as opposed to the Inquirer, which got sued for inaccuracy.
All the time.
Now the Us Us Weekly, which has it always been called Us Weekly? I thought it was just called Us.
I thought, well, maybe I'm confusing it with the USA Today. I don't know. All I know is but what I like about,
I think it's called Us Weekly.
What I like about Us Weekly is it is the poor man's version of People. So it is the more sensational stories that People put out
are unwilling to
go to. And so I go there if I want something a little bit more randy.
Sure. All right. And, so talk to me about the, so Us, shiny, a gloss.
Yes.
There's a gloss to it. Mm-hmm. And it is famous people or famous-y people. Like everyone's too famous now. There's too many famous. I don't know who anyone is anymore.
It's famous and it's definitely a reality show.
Okay.
Like if I see, cause we talked about that. I love reality shows.
Okay.
With the chagrin, I'm a professional actress and they can't stand.
Right.
That I like.
I did not know that you liked, was that on the list? I
love reality shows. Love them.
All of them?
A lot of them.
Even the crap ones or especially the crap ones?
It has to have an undertone of family or relationships. So right now I am geeking over Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight.
Yes.
What is that? And what channel is that on?
It's on A&E.
Awesome.
And
Arts and Entertainment Channel.
Yeah, and there's 4 experts. Mm-hmm. There's a psychologist, a spiritual person, a sociologist, and then there's one more specialist. Maybe a sexologist. Yes.
Okay.
They look at a bunch of people, headshots and resumes, a bunch of people, and they decide which 3 couples they will take. And it's almost like going out for American Idol. You go and that you get all these people and then they pick 3 couples that they follow for 6 weeks.
Wait, so are they couples before they come to the show?
They meet each other for the first time when they get married.
So
legally married for 6 weeks, and at the end of 6 weeks, they can decide whether they want to stay married or get divorced. It's really fabulous.
Wow. Holy. And are these people against gay marriage, possibly?
Well, no,
Who's watching this?
I think that's probably next. I'm sure they'll have a couple that's
same sex.
Same sex, I'm sure. I mean, right now the couples, one guy's really cute. He's from Long Island and he's with Jacqueline and they're great. Like, I think they will make it.
Do you think they'll make it? Like they've never met each other.
I think they'll make it. They've got a great sense of humor and like she already gets him. And I think they have a good basis for a marriage. There's another woman and this I thought
So are they having sex?
Well, they have the choice to consummate the relationship on the night of their wedding if they so choose to.
Do they show the sheets?
No, they don't. They shut the door. They always do that, And so basically, one of the couples did consummate. They are I call them kind of the Guido couple.
Okay.
They're totally like, they're very hot-heated Latino and I love it. Mm-hmm. And then the other couple who's a guy from Jersey and a girl from Manhattan. She's a Manhattanite. He's a Jersey boy. Like he's like kind of a mama's boy.
Okay.
They have not consummated the relationship because for her it needs to be based on love. What I find interesting is how do you know you're in love with somebody after 6 weeks? I don't know.
You're married.
I'm married.
Did it take 6 weeks?
No, it probably took about 2 months.
Okay. Oh, so 2 more weeks together and then maybe you could.
Well, no, but I mean, and you're married too. So the basis of
yeah, it was not instantaneous.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting. That's, what the hell? So, okay. So they've picked from headshots and resumes.
Right.
They've said, okay. And then do they pair them up?
They pair them up depending, like, for instance.
On personality profiles?
On personality profiles. So what's interesting about the Jersey guy, the mama's boy, and the Manhattanite is they both were bullied as kids.
Oh.
So the specialist thinks it's great to have 2 kids who are bullied be in a marriage together. So whenever somebody yells at the other one, it becomes a whole after school special. It's very,
that's awesome.
I mean, it's
okay. And there's 4 couples or
3?
3 couples. Okay. So there's the couple that you think are going to make it.
Yeah.
And and they're just funnier and they're just more down to earth.
They don't take things too seriously.
And what are their jobs or lives like?
The wife, Jacqueline, is a vodka retail specialist. She sells vodka.
Awesome.
And then her husband is a realtor.
And that is her husband because they got married.
Yeah.
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 That is not her boyfriend or the guy that's on the show with her. That's her husband.
Yeah.
And there is, you know what? I used to do a joke, in my early 30s about there was something credible about being divorced when you were in your 30s.
Really?
Yeah, because you trick somebody, at least one person into marrying you. And
So
you're
there's
like,
hope.
So there's hope. You're
Yeah.
just like, oh, are you, cause whenever anybody would ask me when I was like 38, 39 years old, are you married? I'd be like, nope, never been married. And you want to say, could have been. Like some people do say, well, I was engaged once, or some people said, well, you know, I had a long-term relationship. We never got married. But people literally, they will justify it in
Right.
a way that made me think to myself when I was in my 30s, well, at least if you get divorced in your 30s, you at least someone gave it a shot. And it was before I went to the online dating, and I was like, well, we're going to do this mathematically, which is what I suppose reality show could be. Like, are these people in their 20s?
No, they're in their 30s.
Okay.
They're
Never married or?
never married. One girl was engaged, but that didn't work out. But there is, with the women, specifically with two of them, they're definitely that clock is ticking.
Okay.
And I didn't have that clock tick, actually.
No.
And then I ended up having kids. So
Right.
I it wasn't the big sort of Times Square clock that everybody talks about was
Right.
not my experience.
Right. But these ladies have it. These
They have
women
it.
they're like, okay, I'm willing to go on a show and meet a dude that I don't know. And so is this the first season of this?
It's the second season.
Do we know what happened to the last people?
I watched it, and I think two of the three couples stayed together, but we don't know. I don't know if they're still together.
If they have children, or like they could be its own magazine, Married at First Sight, follow the lives of these people.
Yeah.
And just check in with them every couple of months.
Right, exactly.
What's happening? No? Anyone take up meth, or you pregnant? Is anything,
Yeah, exactly.
That's hilarious. So, and that's on A&E. So it's that kind of show. So do you watch like the Kardashians?
No.
Okay. That's a
can't-
family show.
I can't watch. I cannot.
Can't do it?
I can't watch them. I
Okay.
can't.
How
Bruce
about-
Jenner, I watched the interview, which I enjoyed.
Oh, did you?
Yes, it was very compelling, but I cannot for a minute watch Kim Kardashian.
Is it compelling like a train wreck? Is it?
No, here's the thing. I
don't know anything about Bruce Jenner, by the way. I
Well-
never watched the Kardashians, but I knew that he was a sports guy when I was a kid,
Well, and he's transitioning into being a woman.
and I know that.
Yeah. So it was just interesting to watch this guy, this I would say sports hero,
Yeah.
want to be a woman
Okay.
and now go through any means necessary to be a woman.
Right.
And not have the chaos of the Kardashians behind him. It was like a standalone piece. And he was talking to Diane Sawyer, and for the first time I got a grok of who this guy is.
Yeah, because I think he was just in the background, right, of all the kitchen scenes, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Because I've seen parts of the show occasionally, but
I can't.
I don't know anything about them. Though I did. I'll tell you, Ian Carmel, stand-up comic from Portland, lives here now. Had one of the nicest things to say about the Kardashians. He said, I don't know anything. I never knew anything about them before he started working for Chelsea Lately. And then he had to watch the show a lot. And he said, and it occurred to me that Kim Kardashian is a marketing genius.
She is.
And he said that is where he found a way to like her. And I was like, okay. I mean, I'm still not inviting them over to the house.
Yeah.
But it's,
I know.
but it was kind of interesting because all of these people are obviously an eye on the main chance. And they're like, I need to turn something around here and I need my 15 minutes of fame. So let's do this. So not the Kardashians. How about little people? Do you like the midgets?
Well, I have a fear.
Oh, do you have you have a phobia of something?
I have a fear of little people, and it's hereditary. I'm not kidding.
What does it mean?
Do you know?
It sounds like a prejudice.
No,
What does it mean?
No. Do you know Selene Luna? You know.
No.
Yeah,
I know.
She was.
I know Tanya Lee Davis. What little people do I know? I know Tanya Lee Davis. I know that
Brad
one
Williams.
guy.
Yeah.
Brad Williams.
Yeah. No, it's true actually. And I had a talk with her because she was on my show, right? And we had a chat and I said, I am a little nervous of little people. And she goes, it's very common.
Right.
And I thought, like you, I thought I was prejudiced. And then I found out my mother has the same problem.
Well, and I don't think that's genetic or hereditary. I think your friend is correct. It is common. You have to power through it.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things where you're like, oh, all right, it's that guy again. And remember to meet Brad face to face like a person and not just be fascinated that he's super short.
Yeah.
And whatever. And try to get over it.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but it's interesting because the Little People, franchise, so to speak, I like the doctor.
Okay.
The woman who's the doctor and her husband. And they adopted 2 kids that actually have, what they have. They're little people as well. And so I got into the story of that because the woman is this huge pediatric, I think I would say, and I could be wrong, like a pediatric neurosurgeon. And so it just, they came up through adversity and I was bullied as a kid. So when I see stuff like that, I'm in.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I was bullied as a kid, but you wonder, when I think of my bullying compared to what is clearly happening to someone who has some sort of physical difference or disability, it had to be exponentially greater than my own.
Yeah.
And I was more bully me, hit me again kind of person. Yeah. I was like, you want to bully this? Do it again. Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. I'm going to wear you out in your bullying. Yeah. And, although my parents did tell me with bullies, did your parents tell you to ignore it and it would go away?
No, my father taught me how to fight at 5.
Oh, and just said, go beat them up?
Yeah. And I would. And I'd win.
Okay. Yeah. So, have you ever bullied anyone?
There was one girl, and I actually made an amends to her on Facebook.
Oh my God,
she doesn't even remember it.
Of course she doesn't remember it, but it's eaten you alive for a million years.
Yeah.
I picked a fight one time in my life when I was 12 against like a 9 or 10-year-old. And still beating myself up. Have no idea who these people are. No way to make up for it, except for to not do it again. And, and this kid kicked my ass.
Wow.
Cause, and later I was like, nah, she had right on her side. So that's why she won. But I must have been 11 or 12 years old and she was like 9. And I went back to my grade school and I was really mad about something. And I was like, I'm going to just pick a fight. And so I did. And I had never done it before. And every other fight I had been in, I had either won or lost or whatever. I mean, I didn't get in a lot of fights because I was not, there was no hitting. There was, it was not to be done.
Yeah.
I have to do something. 1839. It's, this microphone is a little muffled.
Okay.
So, see if it's any better. Yeah, it's better. I don't know what that's. Okay.
Okay.
Done. So you've watched some of this stuff.
Yeah.
But what's the best ones?
Well, Real Housewives.
Oh,
I am
of various towns?
I am a fan of Real Housewives, New Jersey, New York,
That's
Beverly
because
Hills.
you're East Coast and now you live here, maybe. Not Atlanta. Okay.
I won't watch it.
Why not?
I just never got into it.
Okay. Just didn't get sucked into it.
Yeah.
And how long is that? Is it a half an hour? Is it an hour?
Hour.
It's an hour.
Yeah. And then there's the reunions. Those are even more interesting than the episodes.
What do they talk about? Because they're real housewives. Now, what does it mean they're a real housewife? They don't have jobs?
Well, they have staff. I mean, they ordered the staff around, but a lot of
they're fancy housewives.
Well, Beverly Hills is, and New York for sure. And Jersey even. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're not, like, for instance, you and I live in Van Nuys. It's not Real Housewives of Van Nuys.
No. Though I think that we all want to see that.
I think you and I should do that.
My Filipino neighbor lady makes when I bring over garden vegetables, I get a plate of food back.
Yeah.
So that's a Real Housewife right there.
Yeah.
Me freaking out about a dead bird that one of the feral cats left on our doorstep.
Right. You have them too. I have them. Yes.
Of course you have them. You live 2 blocks from me.
Yeah, they're very.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
they're very sweet. Andy has named them all. Which
really,
I was like, why would you name them? What are you thinking?
They're having organizing meetings. I think on Willis, they all come together.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a committee meeting.
We have 2 or 3 of them that we have Lefty whose eye is fucked up.
Yeah,
we have Jet who's black.
Yeah,
we have Toby our neighbor Cat, whose name is Kathy, but insists on being called Cat because she feeds them all. Like we don't feed them.
No, we have a neighbor who feeds them. That drives me nuts.
Yeah,
because
our other neighbor tries to feed them, but he leaves it out. So what he's feeding is raccoons and possums.
Yes.
who
Oh,
are
possums.
also. We got some possums. Yeah, they're pretty
scares
creepy
me.
looking.
Yeah. Oh no.
It isn't great.
Yeah.
It is not. So the only reality shows I've watched Top Chef.
I love Top Chef.
Top Chef is great.
Yes.
Right. I like the contests.
Right. Amazing Race was good.
Oh, I never watched that.
The Mole that Kathy Griffin was in years ago was excellent. I loved that.
Is it now? First season is traditionally the best because they don't know what they're doing and they just have a game and they let people play it.
Right.
And then they try to recreate it every year, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, Amazing Race, I'm told was, and Survivor. The first season of Survivor was supposed to be the best.
Yeah. And I watched the first season and then I stopped.
Oh, fair enough. And then, I can't watch Chopped.
No, I don't watch Chopped.
And the other thing about Chopped is that once you get into one, there are 30 in a row. So, cause Food Network doesn't even have any more recipes, cause I really like recipe shows.
Yeah.
Where, like, I liked Rachel Ray. I am willing to say it out loud.
Really?
I know it.
Oh.
It isn't. People hate her. People hate, and you know what? They love to hate her. And
Yeah.
this daytime television show that she has, I'm not interested in.
Yeah, no.
But 30 minutes of whatever, and then she's using, I liked her a lot better than that woman who always talked about the table settings matching the curtains.
Martha Stewart?
No. A very, very thin blonde woman, tall, on the Food Network. Someone's yelling at their iPod right now. So,
Yeah.
but those were the reality shows I watched. And then I also enjoy Sing Off. I don't know if you ever saw the acapella.
Yes. I enjoyed that. I did. And I enjoyed the first season of American Idol.
Oh, okay. How about The Voice?
I have not gotten into that.
Okay. People love that as well.
Yeah. I
Okay.
just, for me, I think it's also, I don't feel like I'm working.
Oh,
Do you see what I'm saying?
is that it's sort of interrupting with your actual career?
Yeah, because if I watch a sitcom, I'm looking for the jokes. I'm seeing who's been cast in it. If I'm watching,
That's how you watch television?
Yeah.
Is that how everyone here watches television? Because that's why I can't watch television. Because I'm like,
yeah.
well, I don't want to watch television like that. I want to be taken away like
Right.
a Calgon bath.
Well, the only way that I can be taken away fully is if I watch stuff through the BBC. Downton
okay.
Abbey.
Oh, because you will not be cast.
I won't be cast. Yeah,
It's thousands of miles away.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but that's, I'll watch that. I'm into Outlander right now. Like
Okay.
those are the scripted shows. Game of Thrones I'll watch.
Sure.
But if it's something that I've either auditioned for or I could possibly get or something like that, I feel like I'm working and it's not a vacation. Whereas the
Okay.
reality show is a vacation.
Okay. Well, then you just check it out. Now, with Us Weekly and In Touch. Let me talk about In Touch. What is In Touch? What is it in touch with?
It's the more dirty version of Us Weekly. It's the more,
It's even raunchier?
well, it's more salacious, meaning that it's,
You said that this.
no, there's steps
hierarchy.
down to the Inquirer.
Okay.
So you go People, Us Weekly,
In
Touch. Okay. Star, Inquirer.
Okay is even, these are dumber, essentially.
Dumber
than-
and
more speculative.
and they're not quantitative. There's no real
Speculative fiction
Yes.
is what we're looking
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
at. And now, can you recognize one of the young starlets from the other now?
Yeah.
Because of these magazines.
Yeah,
When you
sure.
see a long-haired, beautiful woman with brown hair who's very, very fit, you can look at her face and go, "Oh, well, that's
so and so.
yeah,
Probably.
good for you."
Sort of. I
got nothing.
have my phone and I can see it. But I mean, yeah. But
do you get apps?
well, no.
No, you buy hard copies.
I buy
over at
hard
the
copy, and if I don't
grocery.
know who that is, I'll go look it up.
Okay.
Okay.
Who are your favorite, who are the biggest messes in the in young Hollywood today? That we might, like Lindsay Lohan, I even know that, and there's no reason why I should know that.
She's getting better.
Oh, is she? Oh, good.
Yeah, Teen Mom, which is a new reality show. The blonde on Teen Mom is a mess.
Okay.
She's addicted to painkillers. Her second husband, now mind you, she's only like 22. Her second husband is trying to take away custody of her kid with him. She had twins with another guy who
Okay.
they suspiciously looked the same, and they both kind of bought the same trailer. It's that kind of thing. So she's on
What
the
channel
cover.
is Teen Mom?
Teen Mom. Oh, Teen Mom. They took MTV.
MTV.
They created a whole Morgan J. Freeman, not the actor.
Okay, good for you.
Was the creator, and basically took a bunch of 16-year-old moms and followed them from pregnancy through to parenthood. And now he's got teen moms that their first kid's 5 almost. So talk about viability of programming. You've got, episodes forever.
Wow. And you could talk a 16, 17-year-old into, you're like, don't you want to be on television?
Yeah.
Don't you want to go through your formative years?
Yeah.
Being filmed on MTV?
Well, and a lot of these girls, like the blonde, she's on drugs. Amber, I think her name's Amber, ended up in jail.
Why would it be?
Yeah.
Jail. For what?
For drug possession.
Oh, drug possession. Yeah, I don't know what I think about incarcerating people for drug possession. I mean, I suppose it's against the law.
It's against the law, but I think in this case I think she was with this guy and they had some drug possession. I think it was more than one charge.
Oh, weird. And so that's called Teen Mom.
Yes.
And the blonde on Teen Mom who is now addicted to painkillers might be the biggest mess in the new kids.
Yeah.
And so, what's her name? Any idea?
I can't.
Oh, fair enough.
I think it might be Leah.
Okay. Oh, nice. The fact that you have any access to that at all is awesome. How about the young men? Are there?
Well, I hate to utter his name because he nauseates me so much.
There's a bad kid?
Justin Bieber.
Oh, that kid. But he's a big star, right?
I know, but it's hard because remember when we were talking about New Kids on the Block?
Yep.
Like they had talent underneath them. And,
yep.
And I felt they came from a place. They're from the East Coast.
Yep.
They we talked about adversity before and coming up and, Justin
they were
Bieber,
a group and they danced and they sang and it was genuinely real, I think.
Yeah. But Justin was sort of formed. Now, Taylor Swift was also formed.
Okay.
Her father gave a record company $1 million and said, here, take it and do what you want. But there's talent.
Make my child into a rock star.
Yeah, exactly. But with Justin,
right.
He was more, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I don't know who made Justin Bieber. Like, did his dad give somebody?
I think
money?
Well, no, I think YouTube made Justin.
Okay.
And then I think people glommed on and I think teenage girls.
Like, is this now? He's 21 now, right?
Yes.
Or 22?
21.
And
22, yeah.
So he's been famous for probably 5 years.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So maybe he was 16 or 17? Maybe.
Probably, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he did his own YouTube video.
Yes.
And then it blew up.
Became viral. Yep.
Yep. And then they were like, okay, well, this kid's going to be huge. Where is Justin Bieber from? Who raised him?
Canada.
Oh, he's Canadian. You would every time I meet a Canadian who's an idiot or not funny or not nice, I'm always surprised.
Really?
Consistently surprised. Yes.
Huh.
I don't know that. Maybe I just don't know that many Canadians, but the Canadians I all know are pretty talented and genuinely nice people.
No, and I did the Saskatchewan comedy festival. Mm-hmm. And they I got held at customs in Calgary.
Oh, did you?
Yes. And then I ended up.
Are you a mule? Why were you held?
I was held because, I was with another comic and she goes, listen, you go through there and you just tell them you're going to a wedding. And I don't lie well.
No.
I'm a very honest person.
Yeah.
And so when I tried to tell the story of the wedding, I flubbed up and they knew that the gig was up. And so
who was this genius? Didn't Saskatchewan Comedy Festival give you paperwork to hand them and go, hello?
No, because it was completely under the table.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, that'll happen. And then you do have to lie.
Right,
and you're like, ugh.
And so she's really good at it. So she glided through. I had a great story. I'm the maid of honor at this wedding. My dress is in the back. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't. And so I started to sweat. And
Too big of a story, possibly.
Well, I
got to keep it simple.
I couldn't do it. And so they took me into holding and I was trapped with this and what scares me about them is that they look like my family's from Maine as well. And
okay.
They look a little bit like the Forest Patrol because they have those hats.
Oh, right. Right.
And so I'm sitting in an airport with a guy looking like a forest ranger. Mm-hmm, and I was, that made me a little nutty. And then he's saying, well, I think you're here on business. He goes, really, why are you here? And I was like, oh crap. And I go, all right, I'm a stand-up comic. I'm here for exposure.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. But he goes, are you getting paid? I go, no. Well,
So eventually,
yeah. Well, not until the girl who looked like Third Rock from the Sun, the tall Kristen Johnson.
Yeah.
Not until a woman that looked exactly like her as one of the other police guards came out and had me tell her a joke and look on the website did I finally get released.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then I left.
Do you know that once I forgot my ID, and it was, I think it was post 9/11. I lost my ID when I was away from home. And I was like, I had headshots. For some reason, I had a hard copy of my headshot and they let me on the plane.
Oh, see, that's good.
That was great. And I was like, and I can also show you my website. Is there something? And completely insane. I like that they looked you up, and it's, I was just watching an episode of Barney Miller.
Yeah.
It's very soothing. I want to just redo all of the scripts of Barney Miller.
I agree with you.
And just, why even rewrite them? Let's just do it. I'll play fish. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
And, the Jack Sue wanted to tell a knock-knock joke, and he kept, through the entire episode, he was like, oh, there's a really funny knock-knock joke in the paper. So knock-knock. And, Barney at one point says to Ron Glass, he goes, answer that, would you? And then walks out. He never gets to tell the knock-knock
really
joke,
funny.
which is such a huge setup to, oh, he's never gonna, I kind of wanted to hear the knock-knock joke.
Yeah, at the end, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So the only television I watch I watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's a good show.
That's a great show.
Yeah.
I'm watching Daredevil. I'm on episode 4.
Oh, I saw it all. It's fabulous.
Can't do it. Too dark. So, one at a time, folks. And then hopefully with an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in between them.
Yeah.
Or an Avengers.
Yeah.
Or something. I'm going to see Avengers again.
I saw that too. It's good.
Pretty great.
Yeah.
And, though I guess Vanity Fair had a big article about how Daredevil was better than the Avengers.
Really?
And here's what I would like to say. Neither one of them has to be better than the other. It'd be like comparing two comic books. You're like, guess what? They both get to be, you can like one more than the other, but
see, that's the thing though. I think, and kind of to bring it up to what we were talking about with these celebrity rags.
Yeah.
I think there's so much stuff.
Celebrity rags.
I think there's so much stuff out there in the celebrity rag stuff that Vanity Fair, Rolling Stone, all of them have to be controversial in order for people to buy.
Oh, right, because they're competing with In Touch. I want In Touch to be a massage magazine.
No, I'm sorry.
I want it to be in touch with your inner whatever. What you're saying is that this is just, it's rumor mill stuff.
It's rumor mill stuff, but it's also...
Is it pictures of people without their makeup, or somebody's wearing a dress incorrectly?
It's that, but it's also like, I'm totally into Teresa from Real Housewives of New Jersey because she's in jail.
Oh, is she?
She's in jail because her and her husband did tax evasion and fraud. And so she's serving her, I think it's 15-month sentence before her husband serves a 4-year and might be deported back to Italy. So
wow. Do they have kids?
They have kids. They have 4
Which is why they've staggered it?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that is, those are what's selling. When there's when In Touch, the cover of In Touch is their picture from her in jail.
Yeah.
It's going to go off the shelves like crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's, I don't even know like the genuine like stars and stuff, right? Because I met Olivia Munn the other day.
Oh yeah. She's lovely.
She's lovely.
Yeah.
But I was like, I loved you on G4. And, she's like, Jesus Christ. You didn't see the news? No? Okay. And I was like, well, you're going to be Psylocke, right? In the new X-Men movie. And she was like, yes, I am. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go work out right now. And, she had to go work. She has to work out almost every day.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Right. Because they're going to put an outfit on her. And, to fit into that outfit, there's going to be some sit-ups, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But, so I knew her from The Daily Show and from G4, Attack of the Show. And everyone was like, she was in Newsroom. She was, she did a bunch of other stuff. And I was like, I don't get that. I have HBO Go through my brother.
Right.
But I never watch it. And, we have a antenna that, so we get rabbit ears and I have a TiVo so we can record things, but I watch mostly PBS. So I wish I watched things, even for work. I would like to watch things, like to watch The Big Bang Theory and go, okay.
I can't watch it.
The Big Bang Theory?
Oh, I can't.
I can't watch it just because it doesn't, those are the coolest nerds in the world. Those guys aren't nerds. Did you ever see the It Show?
No.
The IT show, which is it was ripped up. It was the British version of The Big Bang Theory.
No.
Those guys are nerds, man. Those guys are super dorks. It was awesome.
Yeah, because these are kind of like millennial trending kind of people.
Right.
Except they're 10 years older than a millennial. I mean, that's
right.
and so it doesn't ring true to me. I mean, in it's interesting. My husband was a British history major, so we'll watch.
Oh, that's neat.
PBS all the time, and
Right.
and he'll explain stuff on history that I didn't remember.
Certainly not British history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough. First of all, they have another 500 years.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
how about, now I've mentioned this on the program before. One of the only another reality show that I enjoy. There are only 5 episodes, 1 season on PBS called Genealogy Roadshow. It is by the Antiques Roadshow people, and you bring them your DNA and your,
Oh my God, I love this.
yeah, you got to check it out. There are 5 episodes, and they're all great. They're all fantastic. You will enjoy because it's the drama of family, which I think is what your favorite thing. Now,
Yes.
how many kids are in your family?
Mine personally,
Yeah.
I have 2 children.
Nope, your siblings. The Irish Catholic,
okay.
clearly Boston thing.
Okay, so I have a brother,
Okay,
but I have how many?
half siblings and
Oh
stuff.
no, I have 3 stepbrothers
Okay,
from my dad's marriage,
right.
and then I have twin stepbrothers and a sister from my mom's marriage.
Okay,
So it's large, and then we
Yeah.
have cousins for days.
cousins for days.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest of 6, so it's it's a lot of kids.
Yeah,
And where did you grow up in Boston?
Marblehead,
Marblehead? That sounds familiar.
which is 20 minutes north of Boston. It's on
Got
the
it.
coast.
Okay. Oh, okay. There you go. Sort of towards the Cape.
No, the other way, North Shore, towards Maine.
All right. There you go. I lived on Cape Cod for 3 summers, 2 or 3 summers. I was very drunk. So
Yes.
I worked in Provincetown at a hot dog stand, footlong hot dog stand.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
all my Boston lore comes from that. And the fact that one of my very best friends is from Worcester, Mass.
Right.
And when we went to college together, she implied that it was cool. And then we went to Cape Cod and we found out it is not cool. Worcester, Mass. It's a great town, but it is the joke town. It is the town that everyone mocks openly, even though there are 30 colleges there, and her father is a peace advocate and a good dude.
But it's Western Mass. So there's a difference between Western Mass and the North Shore and the South Shore. And North Shore and South Shore do not mingle.
Oh, really?
We do not.
There's some caste? Is it India? What are we talking about?
No. It's first of all, you can drive through Massachusetts in one day. It's
Right,
4
it's little.
hours. It's 4 hours cross, in any direction.
Right.
But here
If
in-
that.
Yeah.
I think if you go, it's 2, right?
Yeah. But here in LA, we drive 4 hours if we're going to La Cienega. I mean, do you know? I mean,
Right.
So, but it's interesting because whenever I go home, my mother, if you have to take a highway or you have to take, 1A or whatever, my mother thinks it takes for days.
Right. My dad, when I grew up and I found out how far downtown Milwaukee was via car, because I would take the bus and it was 2.5 hours.
Right.
To get from my little town outside of Milwaukee to downtown Milwaukee. It takes about 20 minutes.
Yes.
To get there via car. And my dad wouldn't do it. He was like, I'm not driving into the city. What are you, nuts?
Yeah.
And it's insane.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So, we just never, I dated a guy in the Cape and my mother was horrified and I wasn't driving yet. And she was like, well, that's going to end because I'm not driving.
What'd you do? Take the ferry?
No, I mean, we met in Boston or whatever.
Okay.
But it's that mentality of it's just so far. And
Oh, right. Sort of the community kind of situation where
Yeah.
the next village over is this huge deal. Did you ever, Sarah Vowell has a book called The Wordy Shipmates.
Oh no. Sounds good though.
Yeah, I recommend you get it Audible, because it is, dense and very funny and very entertaining, but it's the history of Massachusetts and the Puritans. And it is fascinating, but super dense and best if read to you. And it's all about the founding of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. And, it's a history book. It's wonderful though. So I would recommend. I always ask people from Massachusetts if they have, and almost no one has. Same with my friends from Hawaii, who I'm like, hey, did you ever read that Sarah Vowell book about Hawaii? And they're like, no. I bet you what didn't end well. Did it not end well? Were the Hawaiians mistreated? Yes, Lilia Kulani. There was trouble. They took away her stuff. Yeah. And
Yeah, exactly.
so,
Yeah, no, because my town is the birthplace of the American Navy. So
Oh.
it's, so it's this 4.5 square miles. It's on a peninsula,
Marblehead.
Marblehead, Mass. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's right next to Salem.
Okay.
So,
So there's an old timey witch trial that Bewitched can take part in.
yeah.
Those are my television references. Something
I
from
loved Bewitched.
1975.
Yeah, me too. Well, that's true. I mean, I was a Brady Bunch fan.
Yeah.
I was Fantasy Island. I was Love Boat. All of those.
Yeah. And yet Tattoo, or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
He didn't creep you out.
No, I was all right with him.
That's because you got to know his personality. Game of Thrones. Isn't there a little guy on Game of Thrones?
I have a story about Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage. That's his name.
Yes.
And he's a famous actor. Very handsome.
Yes.
And super short. What's your story?
Well, when I was in post-op after my first child was born, my daughter, I had a C-section, and they put you on every drug known to man and everything. And what happens is the day after your C-section, they need to wake you up and make you walk. So,
okay.
So you just get up and your sutures can start to heal and all that stuff. So I was, I was completely out of it. And I opened my eyes and I saw this figure in the room that looked like Peter Dinklage.
Okay.
But taller.
Okay.
And I go, it's Peter Dinklage. He's here. He's come because I saw him in the station agent and I was in love, right?
Right.
And so you can just imagine. So it was like mixed emotions of fear and grogginess and whatever. And it turned out as he got closer, it was my male nurse who looked exactly like Peter Dinklage, but a taller version.
Oh, a taller version of Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
Well, that can't hurt that guy.
No.
Because that Peter Dinklage guy is very handsome. And he's got to be 45 years old, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And he's an incredible actor. And it was just wild because he would see me every morning at 6 a.m., this Peter Dinklage-like
Look-alike dude. And wow. And yeah, but that guy does kind of knock it out of the park a little bit.
Yeah.
Which makes you wonder. I mean, this town is full of some of the most talented people I've ever met in my life.
Me too. Yeah.
If not the most. I mean, it stems from the best looking person in every small town moves here. And then they are sad and shocked that they are not the best looking person in the world. And,
So you're saying that we were the best looking people out of our town?
no, you possibly, but,
Please.
if you'd like to go there, it's between you and your God.
Yeah.
Mary Kennedy, everybody. MK Kennedy on Twitter, and Oh Mary Show, by the way. Let me do that. ohmaryshow.com, and your vodcast on Thursday nights, the new episode every Thursday. And is it an hour?
It's an hour.
It's an hour. So, and it's a live video podcast.
Yeah, it's
Vodcast.
actually a taped, so they can stop it and go get snacks throughout. So they're not glued into a live stream.
Wow.
So that's good.
It's a lot of bandwidth. Anyway,
Yes,
so
it is.
nice work.
Thank you.
But my thing about when I moved here, you're just like, it's the best comics from every town as well.
Yes.
And so some people move here and are mad that they're like, don't they know that I'm huge in Albuquerque? I'm the genius of Albuquerque. And you're like, yes, much like he was the best looking guy in Peoria, you were the genius of Albuquerque. You're going to have to reinvent the wheel a little bit here, prove that you're still funny, and you have an advantage if you are very funny.
So where did you start your comedy? Where were you?
I'm a Minneapolis comic.
Okay.
I lived in Minneapolis for 6 years.
Okay.
Doing stand-up from 90 to 96.
Okay.
And I did stand-up for a year in the 80s, hardcore, but in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
So, and then, so I was a Minneapolis comic. So when I moved here, I luckily had been told by people, please do not think that you're entitled to anything. It'll be fine because you're funny.
Right.
And you will prove that.
Right.
But you have to prove that because nobody knows who you are.
Right.
And there are 30,000 other people that are also very talented. So, you just have to reintroduce yourself is what it takes. And it takes some time to do that.
Yeah.
And, but I was just telling somebody today that I was downtown a couple of years ago at Christmas, and there was a Victorian dressed up quartet singing, a cappella Christmas carols dressed as, Victorian peoples.
Right.
And, they had clearly been hired for some event that I was also hired to do stand up for.
Right.
And they were amazing. They had the most beautiful voices. I could have cried. They was the most beautiful voices. And, I was like, why aren't you guys famous? And they're like, why aren't you famous? We're working on it. And, everybody here is so good at what they do. And then if you don't get the results that you wanted, which was to be famous or rich or whatever, you end up creating a job out of nothing, like walking people's dogs.
Yeah, right.
And then because you have to turn that creative energy into something else.
Right.
And so, which is why this pile of weirdos that is in Los Angeles is one of the most exciting towns I've ever been in my life.
Well, it's interesting because I trained in New York, and at the last year that I was there, I was going up like 7 nights a week, right?
Right.
And then I came here.
Oh,
And
I'm so sorry.
And but see, here's the thing, but nobody really. I maybe got a little headway that I was a New York comic, but you're right. I did. It took me about a year to really prove myself.
Yes.
And
there's not as much stage time.
Right.
Unless you want to drive for hours every single night. Because my buddy Andrew Solomson, he'll do 3 sets a night.
Yeah.
He'll do 3 sets a night.
But he's driving Riverside to Long Beach.
Almost, but it's more like Echo Park to Hollywood to the Valley to wherever.
Right.
But it's all night long. And he starts at 6 o'clock at night and he gets home at 1 o'clock in the morning. And you're like, that's great, but I'm not doing that. I don't even, when I first moved here, I would do sets. I would go to open mics twice a week and I would hang out twice a week. So I'd go out 4 nights a week to try to remind people that this did stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And,
no, I know. Yeah.
And then, but I also had I had 2 day jobs. I had a day job and then I was doing babysitting on the weekends. I was doing childcare. And so I was working something, crazy 60 hours a week. And the childcare thing was out in Agoura Hills. So I had to drive an hour 15 out to Agoura Hills.
Which is like going to the beach, kind of, but no water.
And very beautiful.
Yeah.
And, whatever. It's, so you have to do that. And it is fascinating to see. So, the entire point of this conversation was to say that Peter Dinklage is that you think about the geniuses we're missing because of the prejudice with him, because he's a little person.
Right.
He has risen above it. He's worked and got lucky and worked his ass off and all these things worked out for him. But there might be another half a dozen of them, right?
Right.
And you think about like poor people who don't get a good education and you're like, well, you're just throwing away what could be the guy or the woman who has some child who has like the cure to cancer. It's very weird to me. It's weird to me that we don't think about that we don't follow through on that.
Well, I think, and maybe to come full circle and become a little political, I think the current administration that we have is going towards trying to navigate and trying to find the people that you say that could be the next people that cure cancer, but everywhere they go, they're being cock blocked.
Right.
Yeah,
there's a lot of cock blocking going on and not enough. Like the Democrats are not aggressive enough for me, but
right.
Huge reveal, Rangers of the Dork Forest, tax and pay Democrat, Jackie Cation, which I'm not psyched about because all of my taxes go to pay for drones. Right. And what I would like them to pay for is education and healthcare and food stamps and education again. But I know that I use the roads, I use the waterways, I use the post office. You should have my tax money. So I'm a tax and pay Democrat, but, the fact that no one's willing to work together, right, is just, it's weird. It's people do you ever read, C.S. Lewis Out of the Silent Planet? Do you ever read that science fiction?
No.
Let's get back to you, Mary Kennedy. Why am I talking about me? Why don't I do a dork addendum if I want to talk to my listeners who love me? I'm not saying you don't.
No, what am I reading? Well, we talked about those mags. Another thing that we didn't talk about is I'm a big medical geek.
What?
I love, as a
kid. Like medical journals?
As a kid, I would read medical journals and diagnose myself because I was a hypochondriac. And I'm obsessed. So I watched, the medical shows, New York Med, Boston Med.
Okay.
All that stuff. So anything that's got a medical twist, I'm in.
Okay.
And I will read it. And
are there good websites for that? Like if you want to just go down a rabbit hole of, I wonder if I have gout.
WebMD.
That's it? It's called WebMD.com?
There's WebMD.com. Your phone will have an app now that's a nurse that can diagnose you. It will. And I love that.
My friend Karen Rontowski has an app that's called Ghost Radar, and it'll tell you if there's a ghost in the room.
Oh, see, I love that. I have to get that app. I love Karen.
Karen's wonderful, and but she was very funny. She did this show a couple of years ago. I got to have her back. where she was like, you wouldn't want me to open that app here because then you'd know if there was a ghost here. And I was like, you go for it, Karen Rotowski.
Do you have ghosts?
I don't know if a 99-cent app. I don't know if I'm going to believe that app.
Well, but the thing, so that's something that I like get obsessed. So another scripted show called The Nick.
The Nick,
which is on hiatus right now. We'll come back. Clive Owen was in it, was all about the medicine of the 1800s. And I loved it because I would kind of diagnose, like somebody would come in. It was like the 1800s ER. And
Weird.
And I would.
What channel was that on?
That
PBS,
was, I think it was on Showtime or HBO.
Oh, okay.
And so I have great fun. And this just happened with my daughter. My daughter went to the doctors.
Right.
And I knew she had something and they didn't listen to me. And then they sent to culture and voila, she's got a little infection. And mommy was right. So,
well, Vindaloo, you are Indian food vindicated.
Yeah.
Well played.
Yeah. So that's my other hobby that I do.
So do you have books, like physical books? You're like, well, let's go to the World Book Encyclopedia and look this up.
I did when I was pregnant. I had all of those. I went even beyond what to expect when you're expecting.
Okay.
I had the first 5 years, the first 10 years. And then when we moved, I got rid of that stuff. No, you can get it all online.
Okay. Now everything's online. So I don't need to, if I want to freak out about what some symptom or another, it can, I can do it all from the comfort of my chair is what you're saying.
Right. And then especially if you have I had a skin infection on my lip and I ended up diagnosing it because I took a picture of it and then I put it into the app and it was a staph infection.
You had a staph infection on your face?
On my face.
And you self-diagnosed it.
Uh-huh.
And then you went into the hospital and was like, I'm going to need some serious antibiotics because I have a staph infection.
Yeah. And I was
you were correct.
Uh-huh.
Nice work. How is that even possible? Do you feel like you've missed your calling, that maybe you should have gone into medicine or witchcraft?
Well, maybe, or a lawyer. I mean, one or the other.
Right.
But I really, I don't know. I find it fascinating. I find medicine fascinating. I find law fascinating. I love looking at contracts.
Oh, yeah. Really?
I do. I
Okay.
like reading contracts. So I'm not my life is sort of, I don't really watch real television. I watch reality.
Right.
And I don't read real books. I read medical journals and law journals.
Nonfiction. you enjoy nonfiction, and you enjoy. It's essentially like treaties.
I read the Constitution on Sunday. I do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It's nice. I have a copy in my bathroom.
Yeah.
You know, the little one,
Yeah.
the pocket one that Bernie Sanders carries around with him.
Yeah.
Is it Bernie Sanders? It isn't Bernie Sanders. It's the guy from Chicago. Remember the last Great White Hope from Chicago?
Oh my gosh. I'm
spacing his name.
Me too.
Todd Mason knows it. Just yell it out. Do it, Keith. Yell it out. I know you're out there. Quiet, Mike. Let's hear it. Okay. So I got some Ranger names in my head.
That's funny. That's really funny. Yeah.
Kim, do it. Yell. So super fun. But that's interesting. So you wheedle around the internet looking for
trouble,
really. Because that's what you'd really like is to see if there's, now how many kids do you have?
I have 2.
Now you have a show coming up about being a parent, correct?
I am doing a Mother's Day show, but by the time this airs, it'll be over.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
But it'll come again next year.
Yeah.
Is it a Mother's Day stand-up show?
Yeah.
And so you'll do stand-up and it'll all be
About being a mom.
So did you have to write specifically or do you find yourself just writing it?
Well,
why wouldn't you just write?
Well, my material before I was a mom was so much about my mother and her parenting, because my mom had a band growing up. My mom had a band.
What?
She had
the Go-Go's?
No, she had a top 40 wedding band.
Okay.
Called the Mood Swings. And so
that's awesome.
It was really fun. So, and I was her roadie. So the way that she handled parenthood, she was a single mother,
right,
is different than I'm handling parenthood. So, but my act before kids wrote itself because I have my mother. She's so funny with her one-liners, and so with my kids, every single day they give me like a little nugget.
Oh yeah.
or just being a parent. Like, you know, a friend of mine on Facebook posted, you know, there was a Mother's Day thing at the school, and there was this annoying mother who brought in fresh flowers because she didn't want her child to have any of the handmade flowers that the kids made in school because they're above that. So there's those certain things that you end up seeing, you know, observing parents being bad parents and kids being bad kids, and and your kids being bad kids, and
and you being a bad parent,
or seeing, you know, your complete failure in being a person in your child. You know, and so that writes itself.
Right. I do remember there was a guy that I worked with probably 20 years ago who used to do this bit about how when his son was about 3 years old, he didn't realize how much his kid heard, you know, in the repeating. And I've heard since then other comics talk about this as well. But Fred Klett, Klett, go to his website. But it's got to be 20 years ago because Fred said his boy was about 3 years old and he was in his baby seat in the back seat, and they were at a stoplight, and all of a sudden his son yells, "Doesn't get any greener, lady."
Oh my God.
At 3. It's just crazy talk.
Well,
yeah. How many kids do you have?
2.
And how old are they now?
6 and 8.
6 and 8. Okay.
And they're Irish twins. They're 19 months apart.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so they're very close, you know.
That is a term that I should have heard more because my mother is Irish.
Yeah.
And all of us are a year and a half apart.
So yeah, you're all Irish twins.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And I picture her in heaven, by the way, which is a place that doesn't have 6 children under the age of 10, smoking a cigarette and having a beer and going, "Look, you didn't need me. It was great, right? All worked out. That's great. I'm going to go get another beer." And
well, my grandmother's one of 10.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it just goes on for miles.
Right. It does. Now, have you ever been to Ireland?
No, I'm dying to go.
Are you?
I'd love to.
Okay. I'm good. Andy wants to go. He's been once, and
Really?
because he is Andy Ashcraft is a British mutt. He's just a UK mutt. He's got probably English and Welsh and Irish, and if you asked him what his ancestry was, he'd say, "Well, we're from Mississippi." And he's not even kidding.
Right.
His entire both of his parents grew up in the same small town in Mississippi. He grew up in a small town outside of the Bay Area, north of that. And then, but he's an only child, of his father. And, but he's got just a giant boatload of cousins that all still live in New Albany, Mississippi. And, they're all there. When I went to New Albany, Mississippi, his Uncle Joe took me to the graveyard to meet the rest of the family.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we did that.
Back to, because his great grandfather landed in New Orleans from Ireland and, was immediately conscripted into the Confederate Army because he came in 1861 or 1862.
That's an amazing story. Yeah.
Yeah. But he could have landed in New York and been immediately conscripted into the Union Army because that's what happened when you were an immigrant in 1861.
Right.
And, so where, do you know where in Ireland they're from or?
Yeah, they're all, Galway Bay, County Cork. I think that's pretty much it. They're Southern Ireland.
Southern. And, what I always liked when I was a kid was what everyone would say is like, you know, nobody's ever a peasant from Ireland. It's always we had an O in front of our name and we had a thing in front. And I was like, no, I think pretty basic stock, over here is on both sides. Like my dad's family's Armenian. So
yeah,
we're peasant people. We can do a hell of a good job with a tater.
Yes.
And,
it's
some
delicious.
rice. Yes.
And my grandmother came over when she was 17.
Oh, wow.
And
right there.
she cleaned the houses in Massachusetts. And then my mother's mother, her family, they came over from Ireland, and they had 10 kids in Portland, Maine.
Right.
And so, you know, it was this whole, you know, all these people came. I mean, Ireland was not a great place.
No, they were all starving to death.
They were starving.
Nobody ever leaves because things are going well.
Yeah.
That's what I've always
there
said.
isn't a mass exodus. However, we wouldn't mind if Texas did succeed, the union. But
is it Texas? I heard that they were talking about it.
Yeah.
Shocking. Again. Shocked, you guys. I'm going to Texas. I'm going to Dallas to do an animation convention called ACON.
That's safe. You're going to be okay.
I'll be fine. I'll be at the Hilton.
Yeah.
I'll be at the Hilton outside of Dallas, you guys. It's going to be fine. They have the largest Asian collection of art in almost all of Texas. They have 1,000 pieces. It's beautiful.
Really?
And like something like 20,000 anime dorks show up. and are super sweet and don't break anything.
So you're an anime fan then?
No.
You're not-
I don't know anything about anime. I know a little bit about it because I've done some episodes. But the Acon people were like, would you come and do a live Dork Forest and stand up? And I said, yeah.
That's great.
Because I get to see all the costumes. I love watching the amount of work that people put into those costumes is gorgeous. And then when you see something that's 9 feet tall and the guy's standing in the middle of it and then on stilts and working it, and you're like, what is that? And he's like, well, Attack the Titan or something, whatever it was. And I was like, well, I'll go. And I try to watch, and I come home and I usually try to watch something. And I end up watching some anime, and because I like a little bit of everything. So I'll give it a shot. Like I may go buy an Us Weekly.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It may get you addicted.
You may get me, because I remember for years I was watching The Star. I was reading The Star and I would find out about stars. So of Us Weekly, In Touch, or Okay, would you recommend Us just because it's
Yeah, I would.
just because it's the gold standard of, because People, I don't like People very much.
People, I just got a copy of People and I was disappointed because it wasn't as dirty as the others. It really wasn't.
Fair enough.
It was soft news, and I need a little bit of
Speculation.
because I do all of my reading, whether or not I'm, using the bathroom. I do all of my reading in the bathroom because it's the only place I have privacy.
Oh, right, because you're hiding from your beloved family.
I hide from them and I read.
Yes.
I plan, my road gigs. I'm on my phone and I'm not in the bathroom. I'm just
Right.
there.
You're just there working it. Fair enough. Mary Kennedy at O'Mary Show on Twitter and omaryshow.com.
Yes.
Everybody, go see her do stand-up. And, we forgot to discuss stationery. Damn it. We'll have to have you back.
Oh, well, then we'll talk about stationery.
Okay.
Another geek thing. Yeah.
It's awesome. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for listening, folks. Take care out there.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?